guess you love movies. I do too. Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. And today we're doing a video that we used to do quite a lot back in the day. As you can tell from the background, it was my birthday a couple days ago as of recording this. And a few years ago we used to do videos on my birthday Blu-ray pickups. Yes, that's hard to say, I know. And also, I'm also going to talk about a movie that I forgot about on my last video, my Blu-ray video. On the Criterion video, I left out a movie because I'm really professional. So today, the video title is going to be Birthday Blu-rays and the Lost Criterion, which sounds like an episode of an Indiana Jones TV show, but it isn't. It's just me being stupid. So we'll get into that Blu-ray first of all, and that Blu-ray is Le Samurai by Jean-Pierre Melville. Great movie, stylish, very well shot, simple story, maybe too simple, but it's really, really good movie for sure. I also really want to get Army of Shadows at some point. That's a great movie, probably my favourite Melville film actually. So yeah, that's definitely one for the future. But yeah, The Samurai on Criterion, it is the Lost Criterion. And the first Blu-ray that I'm going to talk about that I got for my birthday is also a Criterion Blu-ray, and that is The Last Temptation of Christ, Martin Scorsese's religious masterpiece. Very underrated, I think. Came out in 1988. Obviously, great performance from the lead, Willem Dafoe as Jesus in this one. Judas is played by Harvey Keitel, also very, very good. Yeah, definitely an underrated movie, controversial at the time of its release, but definitely worth checking out. One of his best religious movies, a great sort of... it's definitely a good ensemble for a movie like Silence, a good double feature, a movie that I also really, really enjoy. The only one I haven't really seen is Kundun, which I really want to at some point. I also want to get After Hours on Criterion, because that's out at the moment. So yeah, definitely a list of movies to watch and to pick up. This one is great. Another one that I watched this year, one of my favourite new watches of the year, and that's Mike Leigh's Naked. Fantastic movie, a very dark movie, and a movie very difficult to describe to friends when they ask what the movie's about. I'm like, yeah, it's about a kind of weird drifter who philosophizes all the time, and he's also kind of an awful person in like every single way. It's like a great dark comedy and an odyssey into nihilism. Kind of, it's a very, very strange, dark, funny movie. There are moments you'll be horrified, there'll be moments when you're laughing out loud, there'll be moments where you're thinking about the world in a very deep and philosophical way. There's an incredible sequence where he's like out on the streets and he has nowhere to sleep, and he sort of convinces this guard of a building, security guard in a building, to let him in, and it's just a fantastic sequence, and this character is so intelligent yet so despicable. And he's not likeable in the slightest, but at the same time he kind of draws you in, and there's this tiny shred of humanity in there, but it's very, very dim. It's a fantastic, fantastic film. If you like movies like this, very sort of pitch black comedies, you'll definitely enjoy this. There's some great monologues in it. David Thewlis, obviously Lupin in the Harry Potter movies, he's fantastic in this movie. I've actually got a very long review, like basically an essay on my Letterboxd about this movie because I loved it so much. So if you're interested in more details in terms of my thoughts, my feelings and anecdotes about this great film, check out my Letterboxd in the description below. Next movie, another sort of ominous and dark film, but in a kind of different context. Less internal in terms of humanity and more external in terms of the actions of humanity, and that is Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan's movie from last year, one of, if not my favourite movie of last year. I thought it was fantastic. I loved the theatre experience of watching it, and then when I rewatched it at home, the themes sunk deeper and it became more affecting to me, and I think this is genuinely one of Nolan's best movies. I think it's his most mature movie. I think it's the movie where he trusts his visual storytelling the most. The performances are exceptional. Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., the whole cast, because every actor in the whole world is in this movie. It's an incredible film. Great movie. The Trinity test sequence, the post-Hiroshima scene where he's in the auditorium, in the sort of, you know, little school auditorium, and it's like so incredibly anxiety inducing. It's really genuinely great. I mean, The Dark Knight's still my favourite Nolan, but this might be his most mature, might be his most sort of well-rounded movie. Yeah, definitely great. And the next two I'll do together because they kind of link in, and that's Dune 1 and 2. Dune, the first movie, great film, saw it in the theatre post-COVID, was very glad to be back in that experience, and this movie definitely lends itself to the theatrical experience because the overall technical aspects, the sound design, the score were incredible. It was a great spectacle, a very good movie, but it does abruptly end and doesn't kind of feel like a well-rounded single movie experience. It leads into this movie very, very well though. And Dune 2, or Dune Part 2, or as I like to call it, Dune 2 More Dune, is a masterpiece, and in my opinion, maybe the best movie of the year so far, alongside Longlegs. But this movie, for spectacle, for scale, it reminded me of epics from the 60s, like Lawrence of Arabia, and the main character's journey of going into this vastness and believing that he's something special, being corrupted by power and violence, and a future that's been laid out for him. But it definitely mirrors Lawrence of Arabia in many, many ways, and this movie is just what blockbusters should be. You know, it's grand in scale and scope, beautiful action sequences and set pieces, but it's centered in character, and it makes you feel something. And I love Dune Part 2 a hell of a lot. It was one of the best theatrical experiences I've had in many a year, and definitely, if you haven't seen it, what are you doing, genuinely? And to be perfectly honest, this movie has to be seen on the big screen, so if you can, find a theatre that's showing it still, you know, an independent theatre, because this movie is just a sight to behold on the big screen. And the last movie, now, I'll preface this, because I feel like every person that collects Blu-rays or movies or physical media in any way has those pieces of physical media where you're like, I love this stuff. I love it so much. And I just can't get it. There's always a movie where people are like, I'm in love with this film, but there's no Blu-ray. I can't get it in my collection. And however many times you watch it on Disney Plus or, you know, DVD, it's not the same. You want that full HD on your TV experience at home. You want to feel it. You want to hold it in your hands. You want to clutch it. I'll stop because it's getting a little bit weird. But you know what I'm saying. And for me, there's been a couple movies. But my childhood movie, that movie in my heart, was always True Lies. Yeah, boy, we got it, finally, yes! We finally got this movie, and it's in 4K and Blu-ray. I don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, but I'm glad they brought it out on Blu-ray as well, because imagine after all these years of waiting, they were just like, nope, we're skipping straight to 4K, man, fuck you. I would have been so mad. But no, we have a Blu-ray and a 4K Blu-ray, and True Lies means a lot to me. This movie was a movie I watched endlessly as a kid. My dad was a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, he had all his movies. I used to watch this one a lot. I mean, multiple times in a day sometimes. And I know it's not his best movie, right? I know it's not Cameron's best movie, and I know Aliens is better, and I know Terminator 2 is better, but if you ask me, what is my favourite James Cameron movie? It's True Lies. I've watched this movie so many times, and it's not one of those movies that you watch as a kid and go, oh, that was nice when I was a kid, and then you just pretend like you never liked it when you were an adult. Like, you know, I used to watch the Matrix trilogy, the whole thing, when I was a kid. I loved it, because I loved the Matrix. But as I got older, I was like, these movies suck. Like, the second and third one, obviously the original's a masterpiece, but when I was a kid, I loved all of them. And I will happily admit this to you guys right now. But True Lies is not one of those movies. It's not one of those movies you look back on and think, God, why did I like that? No, I watch it every year, without fail. And it is Arnold at his best. It's that great combination between him as an action star and him as a comedy vehicle. You can do both so well. And honestly, the whole cast are fantastic in this movie. It's hilarious lines of dialogue that I still quote to this day. I remember the first time I was fired out of a cannon. It's just too good. And honestly, this is blockbuster entertainment as it should be. Huge scale, big action sequences, fun as hell. And I'm so glad to finally get my hands on this Blu-ray. So there you go, that's all my birthday pickups and the mystery Criterion Blu-ray. The mystery is solved, it was the Samurai and he looks fucking cool. So there you go, that's all the Blu-rays I got for my birthday. There are definitely more Blu-rays to get, though there is no space in my house to actually store them. So yeah, that's a problem going forward. I'm thinking about getting a chest for my Criterion Blu-rays, and that does sound kind of badass, I'm not gonna lie. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, because this is a, you know, a little bit of a throwback. We're going back to the old videos formats, and I enjoyed doing this one. So if you like more Blu-ray videos, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, you know, all of that jazz, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.